So I'm in my car and I'm looking in the rearview mirror at my new haircut. And I think to myself, oh my gosh, I look like a bald eagle. And when I'm saying this to myself, this is not in any kind of beautiful sense, but legit bald eagle, bald. My whole life, I have spent a lot of time getting my hair done. Getting my hair done is something that was an every 2 week thing. You would find me at Esquire Barbershop on Jefferson in Phoenix, sitting in my grandma's chair and my grandma giving me a relaxer. Across the way was my grandfather cutting hair, and that was just a regular thing. Every 2 weeks, creamy crack on the hair so it could be nice and smooth. And that's what I was told. I needed a relaxer because my hair was nappy. I needed a relaxer because a comb couldn't go through it, which was true. And I internalized all of these negative words about my hair, that it wasn't beautiful, that it was nappy, and just not very appealing. As I grew up, my mom gave me a little bit more freedom with my hair. And I remember the day that she said I could get my hair braided and I got to choose however I wanted it to be. And so I was very excited. I remember walking into the hair store, to the hair supply, right? And looking at all of the colors. And I knew that I wanted red and I wanted blonde. And sometimes I wanted red and blonde. And I needed it to be long and curly because I felt like that is what was beautiful to me. And so I got my hair braided. And this would be the beginning of me really learning how being Candice sometimes would mean that embarrassment was going to happen, particularly by way through my hair. My first incident, I remember very clearly being with some friends, and I was maybe middle school age. And I remember our parents telling us that they were going to go have a meeting and that we could go have some fun, we could hang out. And so we were super excited. 12 kids in our friend's house. So what do? We turned off the lights and we jumped on the furniture because that's what kids do when parents aren't around. We turn off the lights and we jump on the furniture. And I remember jumping from couch to couch to couch and screaming with my friends and having a good time. And all of a sudden someone yells and they're like, "I stepped on a snake." And so all of us are freaking out. I'm freaking out. Everybody's freaking out about this snake. And so we turn on the lights and we're looking around to see the snake. And my friend says, "Oh, that's just Candice's braid." And in the moment, I laughed. I laughed with my friends because what else was I going to do? I think inside I wanted to cry, but I knew that I needed to save face, so I laughed. Deep down inside, though, I felt like I was betrayed by my hair. How dare my braid fall out of my head in front of my friends, exposing my nappy, unkempt hair. A while later, I decide I'm done with braids for a minute. Let's go to a ponytail because I think a ponytail will work for me. And so I go to the hair care store and I find a ponytail that's perfect. It's a little bit curly and it's long enough for me to wrap it up in a little bun. And I thought it was great, but the problem with my ponytail was that it didn't match my natural hair. It was much shinier than my natural hair. And with a ponytail, you gotta put it on a ponytail. And my natural ponytail was about this big. But I tried it. I went to school, I was rocking my ponytail. I remember walking around thinking like, I'm so fly. And I made it all the way to the end of the day. And at the end of the day, I was hanging out with my friends. We were sitting on a ledge and there was a boy there that I really, really liked. And he wanted to race me. He said, "Candice, let me race you." And I thought in my head, he has no idea what he's getting himself into. Does he not see these legs? because I run very fast. My dad is Joseph Tolliver Jr. He holds track records at South Mountain High School back when they were called the Rebels. And so I felt all my ancestry inside of me, knowing I was going to kick his butt and he was going to like me more because he wanted to chase me and I was going to beat him. And I just felt like that made me really attractive. And so he chased after me and I'm running. I'm using these long God-given legs and I am beating his butt. He didn't catch me, but in the moment of me running, my ponytail falls off of my head and it hits the floor. And I think to myself in this moment, I can leave it there or I can pick it up and going all over the place. But you know what? I laugh. I laugh again because it's better for me to laugh than to cry. But once again, it's the reinforcement that my hair's betraying me, consistently trying to pop out and show everyone how nappy it is, how unkempt it is, and just how it doesn't look great. And so I go back to braids because clearly ponytails aren't working for me. Now, when you get braids, there's strategy that is behind this. In between braiding sessions, I had to make sure that it was a weekend. Friday, take out my braids. Saturday or Sunday, get my hair braided. Monday, go back to school nice and fresh. But that's not how this happened. I couldn't get my hair braided in time, and so I had to go to school with my hair. And I asked my mom to curl it for me, but it went kind of like this. Did not do what I needed it to do. It was looking just not how I wanted to look. And so I go to school and I'm walking around with my friends and they see me and they're like, Candice, we love when your hair is braided. And I'm thinking, yeah, but my hair's not braided right now. Further reinforcement that what is on my head is just not beautiful. It's not attractive. It's not what anyone wants to see. So I get my hair braided finally. And this time it is blonde and it is red and it is wavy and I'm real cute. And I'm talking to a boy. We're at his car. I lean up against the car and I'm twirling my braid while we're talking. And as I am talking to him and twirling my braid begins to come out of my head. And in this moment, because remember, this is Candice's life. I'm used to this. In this moment, I think to myself, pocket or ground, pocket or ground. Should I slide it into my pocket? Should I drop it on the ground? I don't know. Slide it into my pocket and continue the conversation. And although I'm holding face, inside I'm thinking, once again, I have been just betrayed by my hair. This goes on for some time until one day I find myself at church. And while I'm in this church service, I experienced the love of God in a way that I have never experienced it before. It was like this wave that crashed over me and it settled in with me understanding that I was being loved by God because it was a choice. It was a choice that was made that had nothing to do with what I looked like, how I spoke, whether my hair was braided, whether it was not braided, whether it was blonde and red, or whether it was just my natural hair color. None of those things mattered. All that mattered was that I was loved just as I was. And I remember leaving that church service like superhero status, Mario, in Mario Kart when he's got the star and it's going all crazy, you know what I mean? Like that was me. I walked out and I was like, wow, I'm so loved. I feel so good. It doesn't matter what my hair looks like. And I think, you know what? I'm going to go cut my hair. I'm going to cut all the relaxer off my hair. And because, at this time, natural hair was like a really big deal. And it was starting to get bigger and bigger. And so I was like, let's do this. I call up my friend Nicole and I say, Nicole, I need you to cut my hair. So I sit in the chair at her house and I see the scissors in her hand and she begins to cut my hair. And as she is cutting my hair, I feel good. I feel great. The dead weight is falling off. And she finishes cutting my hair and she thinks, she says, girl, you can wear earrings, you can do headbands, this is gonna be great. And I was like, you don't even have to tell me all that. I was so excited. I said, Nicole, I can do this. This is gonna be awesome. Until I got in my car and I really looked at my head and I realized my hair is gone. So, on this journey, as I'm walking through, I'm now faced with looking at myself in the mirror with no hair. And as time is moving, I start to become more comfortable with the woman in the mirror. Because now I have to look at her face. I have to look at her without focusing on her hair. And my hair starts to grow. I start to see coils and curls. I start to see fullness. I start to see length. And who would have thought that when I let my natural hair grow, that it grows and it grows beautifully. And I really started to embody that inside of myself as it was happening on my head. I go to church that day and I see one of my friends and she says to me, Candice, you are like my friend who just cuts her hair and just goes with it. It's so edgy. It's so cute. You look so good. She's like, you could totally be bald if you wanted to. And then in that moment, I thought about how I told myself that I looked like a bald eagle, which I did, but I had the definition all wrong because eagles are majestic. Eagles soar. When eagles see a storm, they fly to the storm and then rise above it. And in that moment, I realized that I am the bald eagle.